So now we're going to start doing add the material of cold rolled steel. Sorry for the cutout. Yeah, cold steel. Apply, close. Okay, so we're done with that. Save the part. Control S as spindle. For me, since I already have a spindle, I'll save it as spindle 1. And we're done with the spindle. So now we have these two parts to go, and then this ring. This part is basically the upper bearing. Okay, so new part. IPS. Sketch on front plane. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do revolves for both of them. They're both very similar, so yeah.
That's what he said to my.
So what I'm gonna do is actually do a midpoint line here because I want it at the center. Actually, never mind. Messed up. You want to really worry about design intent on the way you do things. In SOLIDWORKS, because the way you do things really affects your final result and how much you can change your final result. So try doing a center line with infinite length going vertical because we're going to revolve it later, and make the sketch for this. Ignore this hole for now and ignore the hidden lines. We're not going to worry about the thread. As it says here, we don't worry about the thread of here. We're going to not do that call out. So just make the outline of this. Also don't worry about this because it'd be a cutout through the entire one part of the cylinder, not a hollow tube. Yeah. So pause the video and then see how you do. It's very simple. It's just this. If you want to avoid the intersecting error that we got in the last time when we were doing the spindle, you can complete the rectangle to make a full line. And now we're going to do the dimensions. So the width of this, or the diameter of this, is 0.164, as it says over here. So 0.164. And then the height of this, you might say it's 3/4, but it would ignore this top part, but we also want that top part, which is 0.125. So what we're going to do is do 0.75, which is the 3/4, plus the 0.125 over here, and that would be revolve feature. So we can do the revolve, that's okay, and we're almost done. We want that little cutout and then that hole. So to make that cutout, we're going to do a sketch of the front plane, and then Control A to normal to, and make a corner rectangle. So go down to the drop down menu and do the corner rectangle, and then you don't have to worry about control like this. However, the line on top is a yellow square, and click the bottom region and make them vertical to each other. That's because we want this exactly at the center of our little, I guess, bearing, the upper bearing. Okay, and now we're going to dimension this. So the width is 0.055, and the height is 0.07. Okay, now we're going to do an extrude cut.
What's the trick then?
Through all both again, and press OK, and we got that little sketch cut out. This is what we want here. As you can see in the assembly, it would look something like that. Okay, and now we're gonna worry about the little hole at the bottom. To do that, do the hole wizard, and for this one, it would just be a normal hole. For the end condition, put blind, and because it wouldn't go all the way, it wouldn't go through all, it would go only to a little area. And then here you should show custom sizing, because we're not going to use any of the sizes provided. So for the width, we're going to say 3 by 32, as seen in the diameter here. 3 by 32. And it would show you a yellow highlight once you click enter, meaning that you changed or modified the dimension. And then for this, let's leave it at 118. And for this value, it goes 1/8 inch deep. So type that in, and now go to positions. For positions, you want to click on this face and just click the origin point and click OK. And that would be it. If you want to see how the hole looks, like how it looks compared to this, go to Control 1, which shows you the front plane. And here you'd say display style, and you can see the hidden lines, visible with hidden lines feature, and you can actually see the little hole that you created. Okay, switch back to shaded with edges, Control 7 for isometric view, and now we're going to write the material we want. So in the assembly it says the upper bearing is brass, so we're going to put that. So edit material, brass. Way too big. Another way you can do it is actually just right clicking, and here you'd see brass, and you can click that. So Control S to save and name it upper bearing. Since I already have an upper bearing, I'll name it upper bearing 1. Okay, now almost at 2 more parts. We're going to do the lower bearing. It's very similar. So try yourself, and if you like it, then resume the video and see how it's done. Okay. So first, we're going to do the front plane. Sketch, and then again do the center line, infinite length, vertical, and do the little thing, and then this one actually converges at a point, so put that. And now this point is also 60 degrees, so half of 60 is 30. And then the entire sketch is 3 by 4. For the width, it doesn't actually show here, but assume that it's the same as this width, or this diameter, which is 0.164. As you can see, my sketch kind of messed up. Don't worry about it. You can just drag the points around until you think it's right. It happens a lot. So to make this, you can click on the line, click on the center line, click on the opposite end, and do 0.164. Okay, and now if you don't want the intersecting error, you can just click yes if you want, but if you don't want to see the error ever, you can just close it. Now go to Features, Revolve Boss Base, and click OK. Okay, we're not done yet because we still have that little hole to do. So we can go to Hole Wizard, same thing, most of your specifications should still be there. If they're not, just go back to the video and try to do the hole that's here. But I'll show you anyway here. This one would be 3 by 32. More detailed comments. This one would remain 118 line, and this one would be 1/8. Okay, and then positions. Look at the thing, that phase, and then click the origin, click OK, and if you want to see how it looks, go to Control 1, Display States, and click Hidden Lines Visible, and you can see the little hole that you created. Again, don't worry about the hidden lines that are on the sides. Those would be the thread callouts, not necessary for this project. So Control Save. Actually, yeah, let's save it first. Lower bearing. And then since I have a part named lower bearing already, I'll name it lower bearing 1. Okay. So again, go to your solid display state, Control 7 for isometric view. This one is also made of brass, so you can either go to edit material, search for brass, or just go right here and click brass. And Control Save. Okay. Final one is the ring, easiest part to make. So new part, IPS. Okay, try doing this. It's pretty easy to do. If you are having trouble, you can watch the video. Now go to front plane, sketch, circle, make it vertical when you see the white vertical relation, make that circle, and then actually put that relation in. So click the center plane of the circle and the origin, vertical, and then dimension it to be the radius of 195. You also want that center line for revolve, so go to center line, infinite length, and then make that horizontal line. And now we also want to dimension the diameter of the circle, which is 5/32. A question I was asked is what these lines are for. They're just sketching lines. Don't worry about it. Okay, so now that's it. We're done. We can revolve the boss base around, and you would see the circle. Okay. And that would be that. And the outer ring is also steel cold rolled. So edit material, cold rolled, apply, and save this as ring, or gyroscope ring 1. Or for me it's 1 since I already have the part. Okay, we are done with the parts. But we are not done yet. We still have to do the assembly, which is really hard to do. Go back to this frame, so click open and go back to your gyroscope frame. What we want to do is do some references to make it easier on ourselves. As you can see, the front plane, or now you can see, the front plane is actually at the side over here, which is not really good since like it doesn't show us anything. The top plane is right in the cross section of where we want it. We want our top plane should actually be here. The right plane is this way when we want it to be here. So we want to change those references to, or make new ones to make it easier to do our mesh. Another thing is that it's really hard to do like a concentric mate, so maybe we want an axis to go along this edge. So let's do that. So this is the main tool we're going to use for the rest of this. Reference geometry, and then click the plane function. We have the first reference, second reference, and third reference. Usually we're just using the first and second. So here we want to have this plane in between. That's going to be our top plane. Or actually this way, right? Because the spindle would go this way and the rotor would turn this way. So this is going to be our top plane. Okay, to make that, click the bottom part of your frame, and then the top part of your frame, and then click OK. It says fully defined in green, meaning that we're good. If you want, you can drag it out to make it bigger. And if you also want, you can click, pause a little, and click again. And now you can rename the tree item. Make it top view. Yeah. And now try doing the same thing with front, which is going to be in the middle of these two plates, and the right view, which is similar to what we did for the top view. Okay. Now I'll show you how it's done, I guess. So, right plane now. For that, we're going to click this, and click OK. If you are having trouble, maybe you should exit and try again. So click, pause a little bit, and click again. Sometimes it doesn't work. You can pause again and click again, and it would usually work. Right view, and click outside. Now you got your right view done and top view done. Now you just want your front view. To do that, go to reference, plane, click the front part, the back part, and you got your front view there. Click front view. Alright, we're done with the planes. Now we can do the reference axis. Here, just click this little circle and you'd be done. If you want, you can drag it out so that it's easier to see. I know it looks like a mess here, but trust me, it's so much easier to use these than to do anything else. Okay, and now save this part. If you do any more reference geometries, you could do it if you want. Always remember to save. It's because SOLIDWORKS crashes and yeah. Okay, so now open another part, which is Actually, I think we're done. That's all we need to do. We can do in the new, right next to the drop down menu, you can say make assembly from part, and then click on the assembly. And the first thing that's going to show up is the frame, probably. If it doesn't show up, just click the OK button here, and usually it does show up. So right now we have a problem. You see the F in parentheses, that means this part is already fixed, meaning you can't move it. But in the isometric view, which we're in right now, it shows as if like it's turned. We want it to be this pointing up and this pointing down. It's showing this because the front plane is actually coincident with this front plane, top plane with this top plane, right right plane. We don't want that. We want this front plane to be with this front plane, this top with this top. To do that, we simply click on the right part, float it, so that means we can move it around, rotate it however we want. Left button to move the part, right button to rotate the part. Mouse buttons. Okay, now we want to fix this, right? Click on the mate function, and now go under this feature tree, go under Gyroscope, click the front view, and make it coincident with this front view. This menu pops up, just click OK. Right view with this right view, click OK. You can also click the OK over there. And then top with this top. And then it should also be coincident. Click OK. Okay, now our frame is fixed. You can't move it anymore. I'm trying right now, and you can't rotate it or move it, meaning it's fully fixed. If you want, you can exit the mate tool by clicking the X or the check mark. It doesn't matter. If you also want, you can actually fix it so it doesn't move anywhere. I'm not going to do that because I trust my mates. I can do another insert component, and now we're going to put in the rotor, this one. You can click and drag to put it in, or you can just click, release, and then click wherever you want to put it in. Okay, I'm going to rotate this part to be like what I want it to be, like that, and then move it a little bit to be about where I want it to be. Okay. Now remember when I said I wanted it to do a midpoint line because the plane will be right in the middle, which makes it easier doing assemblies. Now you can use that. This front plane is actually coincident with this top plane, and that makes it so much easier. Now it's like coincident. It won't go down. It would only go sideways. And the second thing we can do is in the gyroscope frame we have that axis button. That axis, click that, hold control. This is how you can do mates outside of the mate function. You can hold control and click the two planes. Like let's say I want to click this and I hold control and click this. I can do, and then stop there and hover for a second. It'd show me this mate toolbar. I would do concentric here, and now it's like axial with this, meaning it can only turn, but it can't move anywhere. We want it to turn because that's how gyroscopes work, but we don't want it to move because that's not how gyroscopes work. Okay, so now we can insert one more component because this component is done. Let's insert the spindle. I'm just clicking it and then releasing here. Okay, so now we want this spindle in relation to this rotor. So whenever this rotor turns, we want the spindle to also turn. To do that, you can click the face of this and then click this face as well, or any circular thing here, and hover for a second and you would see that mate toolbar. Click concentric, and now it's concentric, but it slides up and down. That's fine for now. Okay, what you want to do here is go down to the mates function, and here you'll see all the mates that you did so far, all the coincident mates and concentric mates. Go to the bottommost mate, that's the mate you just did, which is the concentric mate with the rotor. Right click that and say edit feature, and here you can do a lock rotation. This means that this rotation is locked. The concentric mate will not move, meaning whenever you turn the spindle, you also turn the rotor, or whenever you turn the rotor, you also turn the spindle. They're locked in rotation. So now, whenever I turn the spindle, it turns, or whenever I turn the rotor, it turns the spindle. Whenever I turn the spindle, it also turns the rotor. But now it still moves up and down. To solve that issue, you can go down to drop-down menu. We'll exit this for now. Go to spindle, and then you see when we did that mirror, what it allowed us to do is our top plane would be right in the middle of our spindle. So we can do that, and then make it coincident with this top plane, and click OK. And now it's not going anywhere, except turning like it's supposed to. Okay, now we're going to insert another component. Sometimes it's good to clean up by like pulling up the drop downs, so it's easier to see like, oh, this is the frame, I'm done with the rotor, I'm done with the spindle, and now I can insert component. And then let's do the ring first. And then we got our ring. So now I'm just going to arrange it like how I want it a little bit. And then we're going to do some mates, mostly with planes. So here we're going to do a right plane mate with the top plane of this. So hold control and then click the top plane now. And then unrelease it, and then you can do the coincident. So for these control things, you want to click what you want to mate with, and then what you want it to mate to. So like right now I want it to mate from top plane. I click the top plane, hold control, and then whatever plane I want it to mate to. You can also click actual faces of the stuff. I'll show it to you later. So we also, now what we have is that it's going to only move sideways. We can do a mate with the, I think, front plane and the right plane here and make it coincident. But another thing you can do is do a concentric. But we didn't do an axis. If you wanted to, you could have done an axis in the middle and then made it coincident with the axis over here from the frame. But right now I'm just going to do the front plane and right plane coincident. Yeah. And now this is fixed. You can't move it anywhere. Right. So finally we have two more to go. One is the upper bearing and the other is the lower bearing. So again, insert component. We're going to do the lower bearing first. And then we're going to again insert component and then do the upper bearing as well. And now we have all our parts in the assembly, we just haven't assembled it. Okay, so now quickly do the, like I said, I was going to show you the faces control mate. So click the face that you want, hold control, click the other face, and then make it concentric. Sometimes it does this where it's hard to see where you want it, where it is. What you can do is click your actual part, and then pull it upward like that. Sometimes you can also click the tab key and you can hide the parts, and then you can pull it out, and then you can do shift and tab to unhide it. You want to click where it is. In case you can't find where it is, you can go back to your feature manager tree, click the part that you just hid, and then you can say show components and it's going to show up again. Okay. Now we're going to get to the complicated parts, but before that I want to also do this. So I'm going to rotate this by using the right mouse button and then make it concentric again. Okay, and then now we're done with that. What we're going to do is do control 1, display states, hidden, or yeah. This is why I want to do this, because if you see in the assembly, these faces are not like coincident with each other. There's like a little gap, and that's because this cone over here would be coincident with this cone over here. So this point would rest on this point, and then at the bottom, this point would rest on this point. Yeah, these two would rest on each other. So to do that, we're gonna go to Mate. If you click the face before, you can clear selections, by the way. And we're gonna click on this point over here, and then we're gonna go right click, select other, and then we're gonna try to click on this point, and then that would be coincident. Click OK, and then we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. That point, I think, no, that point, and then that point. Coincident? Okay. Okay. Now, go back to the display state, Control 7. Actually, we want to save this. We should have saved this a long time ago. Rename it Gyroscope, and then make it Gyroscope 1. But we're not done yet. There's one more step that we want to do, which is these things still turn. We don't want them to turn. It's fine if you submit this way. It doesn't really matter. But if you, as my commentator is saying, if you can hear him, if you're built different, then you want it. So you can do the front plane and then go to the lower bearing and click the front plane there. Sorry, I didn't hold control, I held shift instead. But if you click the front plane and this front plane and then make it coincident, and then again front plane and your upper bearing front plane and make it coincident, and then you'd be done. That would be it. Hold control save, and congratulations, you finished. Wait, no. You did not finish the part yet. There's one more thing that you need to do.
Okay.
The two hex nuts at the top and bottom.
Those are just suggestions.
In here, you can go to Toolbox. In Design Library, SOLIDWORKS already made them for you. You don't have to make this part. You can go to Toolbox. Sometimes it says Add in Now, and it's just going to download the assembly files. Now what you're going to do is go to anti-inch, nuts, and then go to machine screw, and then go to this machine screw hex nut, and then drag it. Do not place it anywhere, just click your mouse button and hold it. If you did unrelease it like this, click the X and try again. Like go to Design Library and then hold it, do not release your mouse button, and then hover over your bearing where it's supposed to be, and then make sure it's like at the bottom, also touching the screw, the frame as well. Okay, and then release it once you're happy with where it's supposed to be. So right now it's not really where I want it to be, but it's fine. I can do mates later. What we want is our size to be 832 because all our thread counts are 832. Single chamfer is fine, simplified is fine, all of this is fine. Click OK. And now do not click the X yet because we want to do another bolt over here at the bottom. Like that. And then now click exit. Okay. So we're done with that, but this thing is still like very fidgety. So you can click this face, hold control, click this face. I messed up. And make it coincident. And this one I think is already there. If not, you can do the same thing again for you. Yeah. If we really want to try hard, you can do the same thing we did for the upper bearings and lower bearings to make sure that they don't look like they're moving. Like saying the plane 2 is coincident with the front plane, and then for the other nut as well, I think this nut we just did. This one still moves, right? Oh, this one still moves up and down. Weird. Let's just do the coincident again. Save it. Okay, now it doesn't move at all. Great. This is the mate that we want. Make it plane 2, coincident with this front plane. You really don't have to do this. This is just my preference. And save it again. Control 7 for isometric view. And now you are done. Now to export and submit it, go to go on the SolidWorks and hover over it. Go to File, and then it says here Pack and Fill. Click that, and it would give you this. You can browse where you want to keep your file. I'll keep it under Gyroscope tutorial and name it Gyroscope test, and then make it select folder. Oh, I can just do it like this. Okay, just click where you want it, and then select the folder, and then save. No. Actually, this error shows up to me because I already have this part, but let me try again. This pack and go, and browse. Let me put it somewhere else, like over here. Select the folder, save, and there you go. It's done. You can zip it up, like right click, compress it to zip file, and then upload it into your studio homework. Alright, that's the end of the tutorial. Great job on doing the gyroscope. And yeah, have a good day, night, evening. See ya.